digest editor, budget officer, human resource, payroll, and retirement specialist. And she loves working with the employees and giving them a full overview of what retirement is and serving all of the UDOT employees. Please join me in welcoming Laurie Howard.
Okay, so we're here to talk about retirements, and we've got a lot of people that are interested within the next couple of years. It seems like my numbers keep going up every year. And what we want to do is just kind of help people to understand that retirement is a journey. It's not a destination. So we're not going to stop there. We want it to keep going, and we want to make the best transition for you through this process. So what we're going to do is kind of talk about the sick leave and the converted sick leave. What it has done over the years and what's going to happen when you go to retire. So we have Program 1, which was our original sick leave that had a value of 8 hours equaled 1 month of insurance. Program 2, in 2006 to 14, they changed it and said, okay, this new bucket that we have of sick leave and converted sick would qualify as dollars for a health reimbursement account. Program 3 is our current sick leave. What that's going to do for us is a benefit in some sort, and we'll talk about that. Okay, the retirement history, again, House Bill 213 became effective on 4/16 of 06. Sick and converted sick leave was to be used for months of insurance. And no payout of converted sick leave unless you terminate. Okay, it used to be that we could cash out a percentage of our converted sick when we left at retirement, but they've changed that now, so you cannot cash that out at all. It's going to be for a benefit of months of insurance, 401k, or health reimbursement account. We have House Bill 194, again effective 4 of 2006 to 1 of 14. Hours are worth dollars, okay, and it can add up pretty quick based on how many hours you have out there and what your salary or the average salary of the person going out last year. Current sick leave, hours have no retirement value. However, if something were to happen, because we have workers' comp, LTD, FMLA, all of those things that I deal with also, I see where people have this sick leave for the current stuff. They're saying, well, there's no value. I'm just going to hurry up and use it. You know, I'm not going to leave it for the state. However, if you ended up on workers' comp, you'd still want to be able to be paid, and you get a portion when you're with workers' comp to get paid from workers' comp and from your leave balances. Also, if you were to get sick and end up on LTD, LTD has a 3-month waiting period before you're approved, depending on the circumstance. In that case, you would want to be paid a full paycheck or pretty close to that during that 3-month waiting time. So what I do is I try and encourage people, your current sick leave, if you get it up to at least 480 hours, that's a full paycheck for 3 months. After that, it's up to you, okay? Program 1, 25% goes into your 401k, retiring anytime during the year. 75% goes into months of insurance. Program 2, again, basically the same thing. 25% goes into 401k. The other 75% goes into a health reimbursement account worth dollars. Program 3, 100% sick leave, use, lose, no benefit at retirement, but wait. Again, like I said, you want to make sure that you have something to fall back on if you were sick, because you don't want to use your old sick leave. Okay, that's really valuable. Retirement, for the process when you go to retire, what we want you to do is request a retirement estimate, and you can get that from URS, or you can actually go out and do the calculators, and I'll show you that. UDOT retirement processing, okay, so we've got to have you meet with retirement, sign your paperwork. At that point, you'll take in a marriage license, birth certificate, your driver's license. just to be able to finalize that paperwork and say that, yes, you've actually retired. You have an Excel spreadsheet that we put together. We put all your numbers per person, so everybody's unique. I'm going to show you an overall example of kind of what it could look like, but we like to run it for you personally so that you know what's going to impact your situation. We do pay stub simulation, calculate your insurance, determine your HRA health reimbursement account. The employee signs off with URS and PHP. And then your retirement begins. So there's all these little steps, and we can kind of pinch it down to starting with me, and then I can give you an idea of how it's all going to come together. At that point, we'll get you going to PHP and retirement. Retirement estimate begins. To get an estimate on the calculator, retirement's going to say, oh, go out on the calculator, figure it out. Unless you're getting closer to going within that 3 to 90 days to 30 days, retirement really wants you to have an estimate ran through them. If you run that estimate through them, then they've got something that says, okay, we've kind of ran some basic numbers for you. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to www.wurs.org. You're going to put in your name, date of birth, spouse's date of birth, if you have a spouse, projected retirement date. So I've just kind of ran this, saying we're going to go out this year. Years of service, what you have. If you got 30, 20, 15, whatever it is, you put in that. Then you're going to put in your 3 highest years. Okay, so if you were to go back on your pay stubs, you could pull pay period 24 pay stub for the last 3 years, throw those numbers in. But you're going to want just the basic pay, okay? So you might have overtime and stuff in there. You don't want to include that in there because that's not going to be part of your estimate that retirement comes up with. They're going to hit your basic pay, and then there's a percentage based on how much overtime there is, and it's like 10% that they count for. So once you do this, you're going to have a life expectancy that it says, oh, I'm 55 when I run this calculator. Oh, I might live to 84. You just throw something in there, but it will show you how to do that. Once you do that, it's going to give you a retirement estimate. Sorry. What I did is I based this one on 30 years. Okay, so if you had 30 years of service, it's going to show your date of birth, retirement, and life expectancy, but then it's going to give you your 6 options. Has everybody heard that you get 6 choices when you go to retire? If not, you do. What it is option 1 says this is the full amount. So in this case, 25, 40 would be my full monthly pension that I would get when I retire. All right. If I pass away, my pension stops, it goes nowhere else. Okay. If you are option 2, okay, this kind of works in you have the non-contributory and then the contributory, the old stuff. That stuff is, the portion that you put in and stuff is yours, so that would go to a beneficiary. So option 2 says, I'm going to get less than, but whatever is remaining is going to be able to, that was on my account, will go to my beneficiary. Option 3 and 5 are the ones that most married couples kind of lean toward. Okay, 3 says I'm going to take $23.59. If I pass away, my spouse is going to get the same amount ongoing. All right. 4 says I'm going to take a little bit more than here, but if I pass away, my spouse is going to get 50% of that for the rest of her life, their life. Okay, so you have the ability to bring it down based on, say, 2 of you have the same retirement, and you want to go with the more dollars up front right now, knowing that the other person can handle the 50%. So just something to look at there. Option 5 says I'm going to take less than 3, but not much. If I pass away, my spouse gets the same amount. If they pass away first, it's going to take me back up to option 1. Okay, so that's where you have a little bit of a difference that you can swing back up to the higher amount if they were to pass first. Option 6, same thing as 4. They would get 50% of for the rest of their life. If they pass away first, it takes you back up to 1. Okay, so when you go in and plug in your estimate for yourself, you can kind of come up with these type of numbers to see what that's going to do for you. Then, has anybody heard of the partial lump sum? Okay, that's out there now that says, with the partial lump sum, I can choose to take 1 year or 2 years up front. So when I go to retire, I have to make this decision then. When I retire, I want to, instead of getting the 25, this basic amount here, I decide I'm going to take the 2 years. So that says I'm going to take $60,000, and for the rest of my pension time, whatever option I choose here is what I'll get for the rest of my life, or my spouse would get for the rest of their life if I pass away. So I could roll $60,000 and roll it into a checking account or a savings account. You can do that and plan on maybe 39% interest, something like that. So it hits pretty hard right up front. Or you could roll it into your 401k. If you roll it into a 401k, then it's there for you. You can plan on it as like a nest egg. You could make a house payment or pay the house off with it. You could take that Alaskan cruise, fishing trip, or whatever it is you want to do when you retire. You can use it as a life insurance policy. You can use it as a way to just know that you have a nest egg, and that part of your pension you can pass on to your family. Okay, because here you're only paying, this only goes between you and your spouse. So if you were to take a portion, you'd be able to set that aside and say, if something happens to me, we can pass it on. I think I'm going to do the Alaska cruise. Okay, so doing it again, we have the 25 years. I ran at 25. It changes the numbers quite a bit in this scenario because down here, it'll show you an early reduction. So when you go to retire, if you're not 65 or 30 years of service, you're going to take an early reduction. That means that if I retire under 60 years old, so I'm 55, retire and I don't have 60, so I'm going to lose 7% for every year between 55 and 60. Between 60 and 65, because I'm retiring at 55 and I don't have my 35 in or my 65 years, another 3% on top of that. Okay, so you're going to have to keep that in mind, that you're going to have these percentages. You want to hit 65 or 30, and you can do the 30 with a purchase. So if you have 25 years, you can purchase up to 5 years. If you're 65, you can purchase up to 5 years. So say you're 65 and you have 20 years of service and you want to bump it up a little bit more, you can do that. This is the Social Security piece. Just some people say, okay, so when can I pull Social Security? So I went on to SSA.gov, pulled up the report that shows how old I have to be my full age accrual. So in this case, 1943 to 1954, you have to be 60 years old, 66 years old to get your full pension from Social Security. Okay, so if you're 1955, you have to be 66 and 2 months. Yes, you can pull your Social Security at 62. However, you're going to you'll start your benefit early. Your benefits are reduced a fraction of a percent for each month before your full age accrual. So if you were to pull it at 62 and you get to 66, you don't get a raise because that's a lifetime. When you start pulling, that's what you get for the rest of the time. Okay, so this just kind of shows you what you'd be looking at, and if you want to work longer so that you can kind of hit this full age accrual to go with your retirement, that's kind of where you'd be with that. Okay, what we do is we give you an employee checklist. This just kind of shows that we want the employee to meet with Julie or I, and we'll develop your retirement worksheet, show you your process that correlates with you, because you might have military, you might have family, whatever it is, single, things like that. We want to be able to make sure that encompasses your situation. Then when we get to a point, we'll have you contact URS. If you haven't done an actual retirement estimate, okay, you played with the calculator, but now retirement wants you, when you get into that real window of I'm going to go, They say 30 days, but you can do up to 60 days and ask for earlier more. If you wanted to do the early estimate from them, retirement will actually send you out what it looks like your pension could be. Okay, so you can request for that estimate to be sent to you. We put the numbers and stuff on there so we make sure that when we meet, hopefully you have that estimate, and I can go back over that options and stuff with you, the partial lump sum, to kind of see how that works for you. If you're going to purchase time, okay, anytime you want to get into, I need to buy 5 years, I need to buy 2 years, or I want to, you don't need to. You get into that situation, then what we want you to do is get that estimate from retirement. They're going to tell you what that's going to cost you. So I just ran an estimate. We just had a letter come back. It might cost us, $30,000 for that purchase. It just depends on age, how much you make, that type of thing. So everybody's unique through this whole process. So the purchasing piece, once you get the letter, because it comes to you, then you can bring the letter back into me, and then I have to make sure that retirement gets that within 15 days of your retirement date. So if you're leaving January 1st of 2016 as your retirement date, then I need to make sure I send that off by December 16th or so that we make sure that from your 401k, we can roll that into the purchase so that it doesn't touch your hands. You don't have to pay the taxes. So you can do a direct rollover to that purchase and have that piece done. And we can only do it within that 15-day window. Okay, 401k, I have you contact 401, pull it up on your, go into your account, myurs.org. Look at your 401k, check your beneficiaries, make sure everything's there the way you want it to be. If you want to change your target date to retired, whether you want to change it to income only, income funds, bonds, whatever to protect you in the sense that you're going to retire and you want to make sure things are kind of secured for you. PHP, if you're under 65, we have the forms that you need to fill out to enroll you into the retirement side of your benefits. If you're over 65, then I have you meet with Crystal. She's down there at PHP just because we're now going into a Medicare supplement, and I like for her to be able to explain all the different options that you have there also. Do we have any questions to that point? Yes, sir.
Sick leave that buys us health insurance, 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
when we retire, is it the same insurance?
Yes, it is. Everything but vision or dental. Okay, those are going to be a COBRA plan, and you can purchase those on top of your medical pharmaceutical. Okay. So exit paperwork, we want you to fill out an exit paperwork for the employee supervisor checkoff. That's turning in your ID badge, your computer, your phone, your cameras, whatever you might have that's state property. Supervisor's going to sign off saying, yes, you did turn everything in. You're going to fill out a voluntary termination form. This allows the employer to go and start recruiting for another job to get somebody to fill your position. I have some people that say they don't want anybody to know they're going. All of the stuff that you do with me is confidential. Who you choose to tell is up to you. But just to know, the voluntary termination is like a letter of resignation. So you could do a formal, or you could do one that is just the one that's short and sweet and says, I'm retiring, I'm out of here. Okay. You get a retirement award of $200. Okay, so you have the $200. It's an FI-48 employee reimbursement form that we have you sign, just saying, yes, I wanted the $200. Used to be you could do a gift or the dollars. Now it's just the dollars. We have the exit paperwork for URS and PHP. All we're doing is letting them know that, yes, you have actually left employment. And at that point, PHP will start working up your benefits as a retiree, and they will start working up your pension as a retiree for URS. You have an exit survey that you get to complete. That says, I'm going to evaluate UDOT. How did I feel about it? This is confidential. It does not need to go to your supervisor. I've had people write 6-page letters. Anyway, so you're free to write whatever you want. It's confidential. You bring it back into me. I turn it over to Carlos Braceras. It goes directly to him. He wants to know. Okay, so again, confidential. Optional. So you've got that. Reminder to close. What we do is we'll let the supervisor know he's got to do an exit performance plan or performance review, just so that we can close the UPM system out. So anytime you're getting ready to go out, or you have people that are going out under you, you're going to be wanting to do the Utah Performance Management Plan and shut that down. 401k and 457. This goes along with your final paycheck. Do I want to roll my money into my 401k so I'm not taxed heavily? Do I want to roll it into my 457? You might have lots of money and you're going to be rolling into both of them. We'll just kind of go over that as we go through this. Are you military? Do you have TRICARE for life? That changes things also. So there's other things that we want to look at. So anytime that you have a military background and you know that you've got TRICARE that's going to start kicking in at 60, 65, whatever, we want to take that into factor with your worksheet. Benefits at retirement. Things to understand. The retiree shares in the benefit. Okay, just like we have out of our payroll check right now, we cover our medical, we cover our dental, $60, $20, whatever it might be. Okay, you still have a portion of that. If you're on the old preferred plan, you're going to participate 32%. If you're on Advantage Summit, the current, it's 10%. Star plan. Do we have anybody in here that's on the health savings plan right now? Okay. Health savings plan. They changed this right around July. That said, it used to be that when I knew somebody was retiring, what I did is I went out and said, okay, you're retiring, open enrollment's June to July, or April to June. I need you to go and get off of the health savings plan, because they weren't covering it. They've now decided that, yes, they're going to cover the health savings plan and give you that benefit that you get every July and January. They're going to actually make a deposit into that account still for you, not the HSA, but they'll deposit into the HRA. Okay, so you still get that as long as you have the 2006 sick leave and you're in that continuation piece, so before 65. All right, so if you have that, you can go ahead and stay on the STAR HSA plan and have it go into your HRA. Okay, retirees, again, they cover the full cost of dental and vision. Okay, so for 2 people, it's $55 a month. You can keep dental to age 65. At 65, it goes away. You can take the dental, start out with it, and decide that you don't need it after 6 months or a year. You can drop it at any time. You just cannot get it back. Okay. Yes? No. Just brush your teeth and floss. No.
Did you know that after 65 you don't need teeth?
See, what was it Lincoln or George Washington with the wood ones? Retirees, 3 months before you turn 65, within that 3-month window, because if you were to try to sign up for Medicare, 30 days or 3 months and 3.5 months before, you wouldn't be able to do it online. Okay, so within that 3-month time period before you turn 65, as a retiree, you need to sign up for the Medicare. Once you sign up for the Medicare in the continuation, you'll end there, and then you'll move into the Medicare supplement. If you didn't sign up for Medicare at the time 3 months before you turn 65, you do not have the supplement. I've had people say, oh, well, I won't need Medicare supplement. I won't have to use that or use Medicare until after 2030 or 2030. I'm like, no, because if you don't have that, you don't have the supplement program. Okay, so that's really critical. Also, 65, spouse is already 65, so if she's older and you're younger, even though you have that continued because you're not 65 yet, she will still need to sign up, or he will still need to be able to sign up for Medicare because they're already 65. So you've got to make sure that they're signed up for it at that point. Otherwise, there's going to be penalties through Medicare. They can actually charge you 10% and give you a 6-month waiting period. Okay. Life insurance, as long as you have 2006 sick leave, I always have to say that slow because of the tongue twister, to the 2006 sick leave and 65, as long as you're in that window, the state will provide $25,000 life insurance, just like we have now. That will continue. Once you turn 65, it goes away there, along with the teeth, throws out. Yes?
Can you still purchase additional life insurance after you retire?
Yes, you can. And we'll bring...
For your spouse?
No, you can't. Okay, we'll kind of hit on that. So this is what it looks like right now to have the benefits. Okay, so when we get our benefits, the employee pays a cost. Right now we're paying biweekly. Now we're going to be paying monthly. So if you chose 2 people for SummaCare or Advantage, it's going to be $113 a month on the continuation piece. So you're still paying your piece. Your 8 hours, okay, that we have, is going to pay the state's portion because we need to meet this total premium. Okay, so then again, before you turn 65 and you're in the 2006 continuation, this is the cost that you're going to have continuing every month. You can have that paid several different ways, and we'll go over that here in just a second. Then we have dental, preferred dental, again, single, double, family. I just marked the family just to give you that example. $101.71 for preferred family dental. Again, you can keep the dental. If you keep the dental, you've got it until you're 65, and or your spouse. So if you don't need it and your spouse does, so Ron has his dentures and his wife still needs dental. At that point, you can reduce it down. You can go from family to double to single at any time. So if you get to a point one needs them, one doesn't, you can change your dental. You just can't, once you drop it, you can't get it back. Vision, they're offering a lot of different things with the vision right now. You can get the hardware, your eye exam and stuff through iMed and or Standard Optical. Even like I say with people now, you have vision in your medical plan. A doctor is an optometrist. An ophthalmologist is a specialist. $25 copay, $35. You go to them, you get your eyes checked. You can then go to Standard Optical, Shopko, Walmart, pay their full price for your glasses or contacts, and probably be ahead because of this isn't going in their pocket anymore. So just something to think about there. Let's see. Huh?
Want to go over July?
Oh, yep. Keep me on track here. July, so you're paying this $103 or $100.13. In July, if our rate goes up, your rate goes up. Okay, so just know every year we'll probably have a price increase. This is a sliding scale here. After 18 months, it's going to go up again. So here we were on family, 133, now it's 170. So you have that July increase, and you also have the 18-month increase, and then after that it's just every year in around July. Premiums deducted or billed, retirees can share the coverage cost deducted from their check, their HRA. You can have it billed directly to you. You can do electronic funds transfer. So in other words, when it's time to pay that $100 premium plus your dental of $55, you could have that come out of your pension check. You can have it come out of your health reimbursement account. You can have it come through your checking and or billed directly to you. All plans can be billed up to 3 months. So for example, retirement wants your first pension check to go through relatively clean. not a lot of things attached to it. Therefore, what they're going to do is they've made an agreement with PHP. The PHP will bill you for the first 3 months of your insurance. So that $113 and the $55, that's all going to be billed to you. So you get this one big check. You've retired. Your last insurance deduction for this coming year is going to be January 15th. So they'll bill you for 3 months from January 16th up until March. Once you get that, then you can continue and have it come out of your pension check. So your first pension check happens 3 months. They have up to 90 days for your first pension check to come. Then if that was March, then in April, they'd take the benefit out of your pension check, if that were the way to go. And we'll kind of go over that with each scenario, individual scenario. PHP enrollment form needs to be completed. We'll make sure you have that done or have talked with Crystal before you actually go. And spouses under 65 stay on the continuation plan until they turn 65, and then they would come off. 65 Medicare. I can't say this enough because I don't want anybody to hit that penalty of not having any Medicare for 6 months and then an additional 10% added on to it for late enrollment. Coverage changes from group plan to Medicare supplement. Medicare supplement is effective the beginning of the month that you turn 65. So you're going to see in our worksheets that we say, okay, well, your birthday is January 15th, but Medicare is going to start January 1. That way we want to make sure that you understand that 3 months prior to that January 1 date, you need to sign up for the Medicare supplement. If you don't have the Medicare, you don't have the supplement. We get PHP completed, spouse under 65. Again, all of that just kind of just reminders that we need to get them enrolled. Okay, the term life, just kind of like you mentioned. The optional term life that you have. So if you have the term life right now and you have an additional, we'll say in this scenario, you have $100,000 for you and your spouse. However, when you retire, your spouse no longer has the coverage. But you do have the option to take 25% of that $100,000. So in this case, if you were 55 years old when you retire and you wanted to keep a percentage of that, you could keep $25,000 at 95 cents per thousand. It would cost you $23.75 per month to keep that additional. So you'd have the state's 25, you picked up this additional, you'd be paying this. Just like our term life is right now, about every 5 years it increases, the dollars go up. So in this scenario we have 200,000. That means we can take 50. We're going to pay $5.10 per thousand. So at age 72, it's going to cost you $255 a month. So I have people ask me, so do I buy it? What do I do? I say, while you're younger, pick up an outside plan with a term life. It'll be cheaper, you're healthier, you can get it when we get older and you get to the point where your health is declining and stuff. It's a lot harder to pick up an outside policy because if you know you're getting close to retiring, you pick up that outside policy, then you don't have to worry about going and not having anything when you retire. And at 65, the state's portion of $25,000 goes away. Lots of stuff goes away at 65. Okay, the retirement spreadsheet. So this is where I'm going to kind of go over the spreadsheet, what it looks like and how you can read it when you get it. First off, we're going to say, why do we retire in December? Okay, so we have a retirement date of January 1st. That means we have to leave in December. You have to leave before the 1st or the 16th of any month. That's retirement start date. I've had some people say, oh, well, I was told I had to be there on January 1st. No. I'm not going to let you be. If you do that, then your next retirement date won't be until the 16th. 401k rule says that you can only put as much money as you've earned into the tax year into your 401k. Okay, so what that's saying is if I haven't earned anything, I can't put anything more into my 401k. So for everybody that's leaving this year, last check will be received in the new tax year, January 15th. So everybody that's leaving that wants the benefit of more months of insurance are going to leave to December 21st through December 31st, somewhere in there, any day in there they want. Totally optional. Leave before the holidays, 31st to get full 80 hours in, whatever it is you want to do that way. Okay, you don't get the January 1st New Year's holiday because you're gone before it. If you put, go back one real quick.
Sorry.
If you put the hours worked and leave payouts into your 401k, you could maximize the 401k, and this will increase the months of insurance. Okay, so here's what our spreadsheet looks like. What we have is we have pay rate, $23. Okay, so that's what I'm making right now. I wish. Retirement date is going to be January 1 of 16. Date of birth, we'll just say 50. Last day, 12/31, so that means we're going to get a full 80 hours in our paycheck. We're going to cash out our annual excess comp time. If you qualify, if you're non-exempt, you get the comp time. How many hours you're going to earn. So what I do is I go through and say, okay, you're going to earn 56 hours between now and the end of the year so that we can have a full good estimate on that. If you're going to use some, it's like people say they're going to retire and all of a sudden the deer hunt comes up and they forget to tell me that all of a sudden 80 hours disappeared, but they got the deer. So we kind of need to know. That's a question. If you know you're going to be taking some time off, we'll kind of go over that so that we understand and can give you better numbers when we're running it. Okay? So $23 an hour times all of this gives you the $10,097. Yes, sir?
320 hours normally you go over that, you lose it. Go over it at this time frame, are you still losing it?
No. As long as you retire by December 31st, say you've saved up, and that's a good thing. Everybody will save up when they go to retire, not use any annual leave for the rest of the year, because we have the 320 use or lose by the end. So what they'll do is they'll save up their annual leave for the whole year. You could go out with about 500 and something if you haven't used any. And as long as you go out by December 31st, that's your last day, you won't lose it. We'll cash it all out. Okay. All right, this is like looking at a pay stub. A little different, but it's my calculator for figuring out your final paycheck. We have your regular wages, annual comp, excess, retirement award. If you have tool allowance, professional pay, all of those things, we'll put all of those earnings in here. Based on all of your earnings, your total earning is this $12,000 in this scenario. Okay, Social Security and Medicare are going to take taxes off of that whole amount. So people say, oh, well, if you put it into 401k, I get to hide everything from taxes. I get to defer it. Okay, well, you don't, because Social Security and Medicare take taxes too. We're paying those up front. So when people say that, just say, no, that's not how it works. Okay, so then we have 401k. Up here we've got your medical and dental coming out. If you have any car insurance, something like that coming out of your paycheck, we put that in the other deductions. So all of this looks like a normal paycheck. We are saying that after we put all of this in, we take out taxes. Federal and state is going to tax on your 80-hour paycheck, your benefits, post-tax dollars, so they're going to be looking at all of that, and they'll be taking some off. But if we get down to here and say my net check is zero, whatever was left, I'm going to put it in my 401k. So in this case, I can defer on January 15th, $10,745 into my 401k. What I ended up paying in taxes was $13. So it makes a big difference. If I were to do that scenario several different times, saying, okay, well, I want a paycheck, it's going to change your numbers. Or no, just cash it all out, I'm going to take the money and run. And that might be about $6,000, depending on what your earnings and stuff are. So taxes really take a hit. What they do is they take 25% federal tax on anything that you're cashing out on your leave balances and stuff. So 25% federal, state is whatever you're claiming, married and one, single and zero, that type of thing. So gross earnings in this case, when we figure this, current amount means that if you're retiring sometime during the year, we'll have some dollars in here. But because you're going at the end of the year, this first check of the year is only going to be your 80 hours, your retirement award. So that's all we're showing. So 401k, or so the IRS is looking at this saying, oh, well, this is all they've earned, so I can't put that much more into my 401k. But you can your leave balances. That's where that 10,000 came up. We put in the state's matching numbers, you're into what they put in, we put that in. This 10,745 is what is going to go into your 401k. So that's where we're going to show we're rolling everything into your 401k. Again, your payouts for your annual and stuff, total cost, 401k, taxes again was about $1,300. Okay, so now when we look at your old sick leave, the 14 and 2006, program 1, 2006 hours. So this is what we had in our first estimate that we did. We have 820 hours and converted sick at 320. What we're going to do is you're going to see that because we're going at the end of the year, they can't take 25% and put it into my 401k. Therefore, it's all going to months of insurance. So in this case, we have 1,136 hours or 142 months. Okay, so that's how many months in insurance that we have that's going to take us out as far as we can go. These 4 hours that are left from this, okay, if you remember right, 8 hours equals 1 month. So we've got 4 hours dangling there. Instead of you losing it, we moved it into the health reimbursement account. Program 2, we have 800 hours. They're going to take a portion. They still can't take 25% because we still didn't have that much earnings. So 5802 hours, in 25% less than the 25, but that goes into your 401k. The other goes into your health reimbursement account for a total of 745. They're going to times that by, for the HRA, not your 401k. HRA, your rate's 23, the average rate was 25. So you get to build your health reimbursement account based on the average rate last year. Okay, in this case, that's $18,800 going into your health reimbursement account. That health reimbursement account is worth dollars. You can use it for medical, dental, vision, pharmacy, health aids, premiums. You can use it for hearing aids, glasses, nursing homes, wheelchairs, on and on. If you've done the flex dollars, it's basically the same as a flex account. The only difference is it does not expire at the end. However, with the HRA account, you need to know that it's there for you to use, you and the kids and the spouse, as long as the kids are under 26. The health reimbursement account, if the family is all gone and passes away and there's still $10,000 sitting there, the state is the beneficiary. Okay, you can't pass that on to anybody. 401k, we've got, in this scenario, we had $1,300 going into the 401k, plus my $10,000. Remember, we got $10,700 going in there. We have $18,000 going into the health reimbursement account. We have 142 months of insurance that's going to take us out. Okay, so here's where I put that hours and or months. Okay, so we've got 1,136 hours. The employee is already at Medicare stage. Okay, so he's already 65 or older. So he doesn't get any of this continuation. All right. So again, for the life insurance, the $25,000, he doesn't get that. It's already gone. The spouse needs 276 hours or 34 months to get her to 65. Okay, so in that case, she's got till 2018, so she's got the regular plan like we do have now, medical, dental, or medical and vision, and pharmacy. He goes right from here down to the Medicare supplement. So as he's retiring with me, I'm saying, okay, have you signed up for Medicare A and B? Medicare A is for hospital, Medicare B is for doctors and labs, Medicare D is a drug program that you're required to have some type of a drug program or you'll be penalized. Okay. Spouse then, October of 18, November. So you notice we end on the 31st, again, the end of the month, so that the beginning of the month Medicare starts. So November 1st of 18, and when we have enough insurance to get her out to October, him out to November. We try to end you both about the same time, so that when we're getting older and we're moving on, we don't have to try and remember who ends. At one point, years on, it used to be they just run the employee out as far as they could go, and then just the spouse to wherever, which was kind of odd. So we started saying, oh no, it should be divided between the two. If the employee passes away, these hours would roll to the spouse, and vice versa. And so what happens is if somebody passes away while you're retired, you contact PHP. They will rework this worksheet to show that the hours are now moved to you. Okay. We ran the same scenario again, except for this time I'm saying we're going out in September. And so now you can see this current amounts where now we've got all this money we've made for the year. That's going to change the way our benefits run. And look, so there's our last 2 weeks, still got that 2,000 in there. In this case, we can put 10,700 into the 401k, but going at the end of the year, or going during the year, we've got 11,000 plus this 10, so now we've got 21,000 going into your 401k. We have less health reimbursement dollars, so we've gone from 18 to 15. And the big thing is we've gone from 142 months to 106 of medical insurance. So we've lost basically 36 months of insurance, 3 years. Okay, so it makes a difference. I've seen it anywhere between 3 and 5 years worth of insurance that you lose by going during the year. Again, if you don't need, flip back that one more time. In here, if you don't need the 06 hours because you're military, something like that, you can actually choose at any time in your career and or when you go to retire to move these old sick hours up into the health reimbursement account. And then instead of having these months of insurance, because either a spouse already has good insurance, you don't need the second one, you move the dollars up. If you have TRICARE for life and that kicks in and you and your spouse are covered, you don't want to have TRICARE, PHP, Medicare, you're just over-insured that way. You move the dollars, move those hours up to dollars. I've seen it as high as $60,000+ in a health reimbursement account. That way at least you have it to fall back on dollar-wise, and your spouse or whatever is still covering the other medical side. Okay, so again, this is just showing going during the year. We've made so much money. We've got that $33,000 we've worked through the year. Now they can take the full 25% of each one of your old and 14 sick. So 20% of your 320 is 80 hours. So all of this, again, is building this 401k account. Yeah, the health reimbursement account, that's dropped. It was 7 something and now it's at 600 hours. That's going to build this health reimbursement account. And now that you have less hours, we were at 13 or 1136, now we're at 848. So our months of insurance have dropped down too. Okay, so up here, this is saying that the employee is still under 65, so we've got insurance from January 16th through 2024. We needed some more insurance to get this, the spouse from 2024 to 2026. Once the employee turns 65 and comes off any dependents, whether they're 12 years old, 16, 21, once you turn 65, the dependent children drop off. Okay. Then once you hit these, depending on how many hours you have, it would take you out, and we get you both out as far as we can go. So here's kind of my side-by-side. On the left side, we're showing that I haven't earned anything, new paycheck for the new year, and this is really the only one loophole, one time a month that they haven't figured out how to close up. So basically what they're saying is because of the IRS rules, we don't get to take 25%, we only get to take a little bit of a portion. Changes that from you get $1,334 into your 401k, $1,800 into your HRA, 142 months, versus the right side, they can take the full 25%, give you a little bit of the health reimbursement account at 75%, and therefore your months of insurance chain. So just kind of depending, and that's what we have to do is when we meet with each one of you, we're doing that. We're going through your scenario, what your options are, what it is you need to make your retirement successful. Okay, so do we have any questions? Yes, sir.
When you get your final paycheck, what's the gap in time before you start getting that monthly check? I've heard it's like 3 months.
Right, we get you down and we've turned in all of your final timesheet, told PHP in retirement that yes, you've left employment. Retirement has up to 90 days to process your first pension check. Therefore, you could say going in January, you could see your first pension check February 29th, I believe it is this year. That'd be the best case scenario. If you do, they're going to make a retro January 1st through February 29th. If you see worst case scenario, you don't see your your pension check until March, the end of March. Then it will catch you up January, February, and March. Retirement pays the last working day of the month for that month, other than your first one. It's a catch-up. So at that point, you're going to have that up to possibly, they've been working really hard because we have so many people statewide leaving at the end of the year. They're trying to do, if they can't get you fully processed, what they'll do is they'll try for a 80% check in February and then catch you up in March. So they're trying to work that too so that people don't have such a waiting period, because we do have, that 3 months could really impact people. So what I do is when they start talking to me, I'm like, start saving. You got 3 months to hang in there for, so, okay?
How long before you get your payout on your annual leave and that?
Okay, your annual leave, comp, excess, anything, all those payouts. Here's the deal. I encourage you to roll all of that into your 401k. Okay, the reason being is that also helps when you maximize that with your payouts. That also brings that months of insurance up. So if we don't put the 401k dollars in there, it could do exactly what you've seen on the 106 months of insurance. So it makes a big difference. If you take a paycheck, you might get 120 months of insurance versus the 142 months. So what I do is we look at it and say, let's roll it all into your 401k. So now you're going, but I need money. How am I going to live for 3 months? What we do is in the packet that we do, we have the 401k forms that says, I'm retiring, and I know I'm not going to have any money for 3 months. So let's fill out the paperwork and say, okay, I want a one-time draw off my 401k. Okay, so we can do a one-time draw. You can set it up so it's monthly, annually, semi-quarterly, so you can set it up so it's an ongoing piece that's coming out of your 401k. It might be $500 every month. You can cancel that at any time. You can do a one-time draw up to 4 times in a year. You can do the ongoing. So what we do is we work something up and says, okay, I'm going to need $3,000 to live on till everything comes back into play and I start getting a regular check. So you can fill it out saying, okay, I want a 3,000 draw. You might get 2,700 because again, federal taxes at 20%, state taxes at whatever you're doing, married and 1, single and 2, whatever you're going to do that way.
That one-time draw, you get 48 and a half.
If you retire at the age, your retirement date is the same year that you turn 55, you can take the draw from your 401k without that extra 10% penalty. Okay, federal's already going to take 20%, so they'll chalk on another 10% if you take it at 54 because you're not 59 and a half. Okay, so I do have people that'll say, okay, well, I want to roll into my 401k, or no, because I'm young, let me roll it all into my 457. Your 457 does not look, this health plan to give you more months of insurance and stuff doesn't recognize the 457. It's got to go into the 401k. But if you want to split, you can do that also. Yes, sir.
On our pension, I was told to get cost of living and longevity increases, is that?
Right. Yeah, everybody gets excited when they retire because instead of 1% maybe, they get up to 4% every year on their anniversary date. So yes, that's something I hear a lot. People say, oh, cool, I make more money now than I would have if I'd have stayed. and it's probably relatively true, so.
Any penalties on the 401 account that you put in at that time, or this scenario you're talking about?
Yeah, an employee can put in up to their paycheck, their leave balances, you can roll all that, there's not. The sick leave that's going in is considered this employer's contribution, so that can be up to, 50,000, and you can put into your 24. Employees can put into 24,000 in a year as long as they are 50 or older, because you can do that catch up. If you're under 50, say you're 30, 49 and you're going to retire, you can only put into 18,000. And again, when we run those numbers for you, that's what we're looking at. Where are you at in your stage of life, so that we know how much can go into that 401, what the penalty is, and to be able to explain that for you.
About 3 minutes.
Okay.
You sit on HRA, if the state is the beneficiary on that, you start like that. Does the spouse get it, or once the employee dies, it's gone?
No, the HRA is there for you and for your spouse. If you pass away, your spouse still has it to use for the rest of their life. Also with the HRA, I tell people don't run out and spend it all in one place, because you never know how long you're going to live. People have said, oh, if I'd only known, I heard it yesterday, if we'd have only known, we would have waited a little bit longer. So, and the thing is with the HRA is PHP administers that program right through PHP's Flex department, so that it's all handled through your HSA, your HRA, your Flex accounts, all handled through PHP. And they will kind of watch and monitor that for you, and then if you have questions, you can go back to that. I've had people ask about the HSA versus the HRA. So here, you've been putting into this HSA account for the last 6 years or whatever. You've got money in there, you're going to still do it because you're going to work another year. Then you have this bucket that's going to go into the HRA account. People say, so what do I use, my HSA or my HRA? Okay, the HRA, if you pass away and your spouse passes away, kids under 26 are off, it rolls to the state if you're not there. The HSA, again, it's your dollars. You get to port it anywhere you want. If you pass away, you list a beneficiary on that, that will go to a beneficiary. So would I use my HRA or my HSA? HSA you can pass on to the family, the HRA you cannot. However, if you use your HRA account, once you activate that, requesting a MasterCard, because what it does is comes to you like a MasterCard, just like the Flex. You get this MasterCard, they load it up with the $60,000. You go to the doctor, you swipe the card. You go get glasses, swipe the card. Once you activate that application, PHP takes $2.50 off a month for administrative costs. I have not seen those dollars go up in 6 years. So therefore, you have the advantage of, once I activate it, it's there for me. But if I do it too soon and I don't want to, then I'm going to be paying that $2.50 until I really decided to use it. Maybe 10 years down the road, you decide, okay, well, I've got a gap between 64 and 65. I'm going to use that HRA to pay the COBRA cost, which would be that full amount. So instead of $103 or $100.13, it might be $173 that the state pays. You could use that to pay that COBRA cost for that 1 year that you need to. So the HRA, just depending on when you want to activate it, they'll start taking that administrative cost off, but it's there for you to use. So, anything else?
So they don't start taking out that $2.50
Until you use it the first time. And again, like I said, you can have those premiums come out of that HRA, that activates it. So if we say that, if you use the HRA to pay your premiums, that 3-month window that I told you might have to pay up front of your benefits, they would just apparently pay, it just from what I understood recently, it just comes right out of that HRA and you don't have to worry about that 3-month catch-up. Okay? Yeah, you can use the HSA to cover any medical costs. Same thing. The only difference is if you use that and you have the HRA dollars, the HSA you could give to your son or your grandkids or whatever. You can pass that on. They just change it out like a 401k. You tax it and they go to them and they've got the money. or they can use it as a benefit depending on if it's just you and a spouse or who's ever qualified. Good questions. Anything else? All right, what we're going to do is we're going to load this so that you have this PowerPoint. You can access it on this website. It'll go up after we get through the conference. You can get a hold of Julie or I. We've kind of put some papers on the end of the chair so that you can give us a call if you want to look at numbers. If you're going this year, great. We've got you on our list. If you're not going to go for another year or so, wait till February to email us. What you can do is just send us an email saying that you're interested in going. Give us your name. Employee number is really helpful. Give us a name, if you're married, spouse's name and date of birth. Send those to us. We will work those numbers up for you, give you a call, and then we'll meet with you and tell you what your scenario is going to look like. Okay? Appreciate you all coming. Thank you so much. Have a good day.